Okay, everybody, welcome back once again for our second race group on Monday night. We have our Gnosis Division 1 group here ready to take on round 8 in Spain. So, round 8 out of 12, we're almost towards the end of the season, and boy, do we have a championship battle here, as well as Tier 2, which we had about an hour and a half ago. So, feel free to take a look back at that one. We do have it live streamed on our YouTube channel, so yeah, give us a like and subscribe. Unfortunately, it is only me in the comms booth, La Rodri. Toyota Commander 7, unfortunately, a little bit busy at the moment, but hopefully we have him again next week. But yeah, we're looking forward to this group. We have 18 drivers on the grid. Unfortunately, Apex Agent having some internet issues, so not able to join in. Another driver who had to back out last second, but yeah, hopefully he's ready for next week in Zandvoort. Um, we have already a couple of drivers who are currently on an outlap, but yeah, we're definitely looking forward to this group. We have a couple of reserves here today. That would be Autron, leader Leadbag, and our Tier 2 winner for today here in Spain a couple hours ago, Kyle, in the Aston Martin. So yeah, big welcome to these three. Again, I know a few of them, they like to take the, especially Autron and leader Leadbag, like to take the extra practice for our Gnosis Division 2 group on Wednesday night. So yeah, at least they get the extra practice, know what to tweak up. Atron, who's currently leading the championship in that group, looking to fix up anything on his setup. And we also have a newcomer here today, and that would be, trying to look for his name. I believe it was, there we go, Clunky Boy in the Hat. So first race with us here today. Best of luck to him, and hopefully he has a really good race. Looking forward to seeing what he's able to bring out on the track. Um, But yeah, as I mentioned, we have such an interesting battle here, as well as we did in Tier 2 in regards to the championship. Uh, we have MK7 Hitch, who just by 2 points was able to save himself last race. Feel free to look at that race. Started on pole position in Las Vegas, made a mistake, dropped himself all the way down to last, somehow managed to climb himself up to the grid, up to 5th, and that allowed him, currently holding a total of 228 points, to be 2 points ahead of his rival Mac T, who is 226 points behind. Sorry, 226 points in total, 2 points behind. Looks like that is going to be our main championship battle in regards to the driver standings. Of course, PO2, you never know, anything could happen. He is currently in third with a total of 152 points. So that is a 74-point difference between him and Mac T. So PO2, who I just mentioned, putting in a lap of 112.8. And looks like the fastest out of the ones who have currently put in a lap at the moment. His best friend Mamu going around. We do have Fate, who has actually managed to put in a provisional pole, 112.3. And Moikuli, a 111.8. I was just about to mention Moikuli, who had put in a pole position in Tier 1 on Saturday, with our limited assist tier. So Moikuli, who in Tier 1 put in a 111.5. So at the moment, 2 tenths down, so plenty of room for improvement. And in regards to the Constructors' Championship, we also have a battle there as well. So both MacT and MK7 Hitch not only fighting for the Drivers' Championship, but also for the Constructors. So we have the Ferrari of Sayo and MacT currently leading the championship in regards to the Constructors, a total of 327 points. And in second, we do have the Red Bull of MK7 Hitch and Relativity. So that is 60 points difference right there. Red Bull at the moment with a total of 267 points. So looking quite solid for the Ferrari team there. MacT, who, if I'm not mistaken, had actually won the Constructors in the Ferrari a couple seasons ago. So looking to go at it again. And MK7 Hitch, who is our defending championship for this champion in this division. MK7 Hitch, who won last season, a phenomenal drive that whole season, had quite the battle with Moikuli. Now this season has both Moikuli and Mac T, along with other competition, also Fate and Mamu there also as well, giving a little bit of competition. But we do have MK7 Hitch going around the final sector here. Looking forward to seeing what he's able to put in. So going around here on the final corner is going to put in a 112.1. And I do also want to mention that other than Moikuli, MK7 Hitch also participates in Tier 1 on Saturdays. And in the Tier 1 race, MK7 Hitch was actually disqualified. He didn't put a lap time, so didn't put a lap time. Somehow still managed to put himself in second. So from last all the way to second, climbed up 17 positions. A great drive by MK7 Hitch. I still have to put up the driver of the day, but definitely a driver of the day for that race. Well, looks like he's going to he has put in a quality lap for this division, and so holding second at the moment in the first row. And we also have Clunky Boy, who, as I mentioned, this is his debut here with our Gnosis Division 1. I believe he has a bit of familiarity with a couple of these drivers, so yeah, I can't wait to see the chemistry here on the track. It does have a couple of traffic right in front of him, but I don't think they'll be close enough, although Clunky Boy going a tad bit deep right there. Looks like the Ferrari going to get out the way, doing well to not get in the way of the drivers on the track. But Clunky Boy, about to cross the line, is going to put in a 112.7, puts himself in 7th at the moment. And I do see Kyle, aka Ryan, in the Aston Martin, forgetting that setup is forgetting that Park Firm is actually off for this division, so I actually put up his quali setup. So yes, I remember to remember about these divisions and the limited assist tiers. They do have different settings, so yeah, unfortunately, it's gonna be a little bit tricky. But ooh, looks like the uppie has a little bit of damage there. And I do actually see that Frozen is available to race. So since you're considering, I'm pretty sure you're listening, I'll send you an invite. Give me 1 second if I'm able to find you. Because we do have space available. So I'll send you an invite. That way you can select any car. No other driver's going to be joining in. So those 2 seats are free. I believe one of them is the McLaren and the other... Can't remember exactly. But anyways, we have a couple drivers already on their hot lap at the moment. That is Ryan and Dismal Games. Ryan appears to have already started a little bit further ahead, so actually up by 3/10 here in Sector 1. So as I mentioned, this is for our viewers who are just tuning in. This is a no assist division, so they are racing with absolutely no assists, including the racing line. So yeah, mega respects to these drivers who take the time to really practice the tracks, to really learn their braking points, try memorizing as much as they can, and do have Ryan who does well to take that corner right there. Was still up on his time, so here going around the final corners in Sector 3, I do see that we have Frozen just joining in. And so Ryan crossing the line, puts in a 112.2, does improve by 3/10 and moves himself up to the second row, up into third. We do have both Moikuli and MK7 Hitch currently on a hot lap, and Mac T, who has yet to put a lap time, is currently on an out lap, so we'll keep an eye on him soon. But Moikuli here finishing up in Sector 2. We'll see if he's able to improve. And it looks like he is up by a 10th. And looking at MK7 Hitch, who runs a little bit deep right there, I do think he is actually just behind Moikuli. Moikuli with plenty of battery left to use here on the final straight. Goes flat out and puts in a 111.7. And MK7 Hitch also improving, but unfortunately not enough to reach the 111s, but does put in a 112.1. And it looks like we do have Fate, who appears to have put in a purple second sector. It does say that he's up by 3/10, however, we do know how EA tends to be in terms of switching on the drivers, but looks like he is committed to this lap, so we'll see if he's able to improve here. Fate does improve, actually improves by half a second, pushing himself up to second and pushing MK7 Hitch down. We do have Mac T, who, as I mentioned, is on the hunt for the championship here with MK7 Hitch up ahead by 2 points. And Mac T is going to put in a lap, a heck of a lap actually, so puts in a 111.7. 4 thousandths, actually no, looks like that's about less than 20 thousandths behind of Makuli. The sky, the color of the sky moving a little bit with the numbers, the purple on the lap time for Moikuli there. And so looking to see if anybody else is putting in a lap time. We do have, appears to be Mini Tony here in Sector 2, currently in 14th, putting in a 113.5. We'll see him here in Sector 2 if he has improved. And looks like he's down on his time, however, you never know if he's able to pick it up here on the final corners. And looks like he's going to be going back into the pit lane. Looks like no improvement there. But we do have Clunky Boy, who has managed to put himself up into 4th. And taking a little bit of the gravel there, but it looks like the grand majority of the drivers currently in the pits or in an out lap. But we do have Frozen, who was a full-time driver a couple seasons ago, had backed out for this season, but always nice to see him. Definitely has the pace from what we've seen before. Although you never know, maybe he could be joining in a little bit rusty, but wouldn't be surprised. He's definitely a phenomenal driver who has great pace and great consistency from what we've seen. But we do have less than 4 minutes left in the qualifying session. Moikuli currently holding provisional pole. Phenomenal lap time, 111.7. I do believe, as I mentioned in Tier 1, he did put in a 111 point... Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. A 111.5, so he's 2/10 down on his best lap here in Spain. But it looks like we have PO7 who has currently started his lap time here. So PO7, who's currently in 9th, his best friend and rival, Mamouk, right in front of him in the starting grid. And looks like here in Sector 1, he has improved by a second. Struggled a little bit there on the throttle, and looks like he's going to back out of that. Yeah, looks like PO7 backing out of that, does have a driver behind, although I don't think that driver's on a hot lap at the moment. But we do have Relativity, MK7 Hitch's teammate, going to cross the line, puts in a 1:13.0, puts himself in 10th. So does improve and does gain quite a number of positions there. We have leader Leadback, who, as I mentioned, is one of our No Assist Division 2 drivers looking to get the practice in preparation for Wednesday night. And has been enjoying these last two races with the No Assist Division 1 group. And looks like he does improve by 4/10. Keeps that at 16th, P16. We do have Frozen, who was on a banker lap prior, but currently putting in a lap time. And we will be keeping an eye soon on our top 4 drivers who are currently on an out lap. So I will say, talented group of drivers here. We have seen in Tier 1 quite a number of rear losses. It's not an easy track. That's usually why they say it's Spain without the A, because you're spinning everywhere. But what I've seen, all the drivers doing really well to keep it consistent on the track. All the drivers getting out the way as well, doing a phenomenal job to keep an eye on the surrounding drivers who are currently on a hot lap. But we do have our top 2, Moikuli and MacT, who are currently putting in a lap time. But Frozen, keep an eye on Frozen. Frozen's going to put in a 1:11.8. That puts himself into 4th. And taking a look at Moikuli, looks like Moikuli does appear to be up by a 10th. Actually, see, that's why I usually say you never know with the EA glitches, because now he has finished Sector 1 and does appear to be down on his time. But of course, you never know where else he could pick up that time in the other sectors. He does have MacT up ahead, who will be finishing up his lap first. And has actually put in a purple second sector. So MacT with the potential to gain some time here on the final sector, trying to get that pole position from Moikuli. Goes flat out and is going to put in a 1. He actually doesn't improve, so stays in second. Moikuli tailing right behind, taking a little bit too much of the inside curve. And looks like Moikuli still somehow manages to improve. And so Moikuli holding provisional pole. We have Fate in the Mercedes. Does appear to have improved on his time, however, we'll take a look once he is here on the final sector. Crossing the line, does improve and pushes Frozen down a position. So Fate here in the second row up into 3rd. Dismal Games, looks like he is not going to be putting in a lap time. We have MK7 Hitch, who is currently, as I mentioned before, our championship leader at the moment. And so MK7 Hitch crossing the line, puts him in a 1:11.6, improves and pushes Moikuli down a position. And so great job by MK7 Hitch to get that pole position. We have Relativity, who appears to be going back into the pit lane. Frozen, I do see you're asking for the server roles. Give me 1 second, Frozen. Alright, you should be having it now. There you go. Alright, so it looks like we're just waiting for a couple of drivers to enter the pit lane. Or enter the garage, it seems. Alrighty, so that is going to be our starting grid here for round 8 in Spain. We have MK7 Hitch starting on pole position. Sharing the front row, we have Moikuli in 2nd, MacT in 3rd, Fate in 4th, Frozen in 5th, after having said that he was going to be a little bit rusty. Mamu in 6th, Dismal Game 7th, Clunky Boy 8th on his debut. Ryan in ninth, PO7 in 10th, and from all the way to the bottom, we have Armanton, Relativity, Yuppie, Autron, Sayo, Minitoni, Leader Leadbag, Ricky Stenicki, and Frankie. So that is going to be our starting grid heading into the race. We do have about 3 to 5 minutes break, so just a big reminder to the drivers not to ready up, uh, just to make sure everybody's able to adjust their setups, their strategies. And I do believe from what I saw, it is going to be a dry race, unfortunately, on my end. I do like to see a wet race, but I'm pretty sure these drivers are happy with the dry track. And just taking a quick look at a couple messages on the Discord. Alrighty. Well, so we have a couple of variety of strategy calls. We did see in tier one we had no safety car, if I'm not mistaken. So a couple of drivers opting for the one stop, although it is a bit of a risk on this track, as we've seen with how the tire management or tire degradation is on this track. Tier two having a safety car quite early, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was on lap 11, 12. I could be wrong. Um, but yeah, a couple of drivers who opted for the starting on the hards having to go for the two stop strategy. Um, And what is Alex? Alex saying yes. Alex, unfortunately, having fallen asleep. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it looks like he just woke up and missing the race. I will say it, sir. That is the fourth time in a row. So taking a look at that afterwards, but it's saying it's a L nap. Yeah, even Mamu, who's in Bahrain, it races. I don't know. God knows what time. The crack of butt, I think. Still somehow managing to wake up on time for the races. So Alex, you have no excuse. No, I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. I know. Unfortunately, life gets busy. We get tired. I get it. I completely get it. Uh, Alrighty, but as a big reminder to our viewers and our drivers, in case they forget, we do have no formation lap on for our Gnosis divisions, so they will be going straight into the race. They will be having the ready up in a couple of seconds. So, as a big reminder, drivers, please make sure to be cautious and sensible on the first opening lap. As a reminder, ghosting is disabled, so you don't want to risk anything that can potentially uh, turn into a multi-card collision. So just keep that in mind. But they do have the ready up, and looks like they have 5 lights, and off they go. And just gonna put up all this information at the moment. Looks like we already have a couple of position changes happening. Looks like Frozen actually getting the overtake done on Fate, and everybody giving each other just enough roof. And a really good opening lap right there for the majority of the drivers. As a reminder, it's cold tires. Oh, PL7. Actually, looks like that is Clunky Boy going a tad bit wide right there. And we have a couple of positions changes happening at the moment. Clunky Boy actually losing quite a number of positions there from going wide. Battling it out here with the PO7 going on the inside, but looks like PO7 isn't going to really contest that. And so Clunky Boy gaining back a position up to 9th. And I do see we had yellow flags. That appears to have been the Yuppie in the Mercedes dropping down 6 positions there. And looks like he's back on the track and moving, but really good opening lap there for this division. Honestly, something we really expect, especially for people quite a bit of experience on this game from what I've seen. But we do have DRS now enabled, and I do think that was a driver going a tad bit wide, and that may have been Ryan in the Aston Martin, and now losing a couple positions there. So going a tad bit wide off the track, and that allowed the other drivers to take advantage of that and get the pass done. I don't see any gaps closing in at the moment, but everybody remaining quite close behind of each other. Pretty much a DRS train if it keeps it like this. All the drivers, all 16 drivers actually, I had to take a quick look at that, less than a second behind of each other. So phenomenal racing from these guys. So this is a track where, as I mentioned, it is very easy to lose the rear. Can put a little bit too much throttle and off you go spinning. And we saw that a couple times in Tier 1 and Tier 2, but all the drivers doing well to keep the car straight on the track. Mike Cooley is now going to have the DRS behind of MK7 Hitch. But Mike Cooley, who is often calm and collected, is he going to wait or is he going to look to make the attack? And looks like he's not going to be close enough to make any move yet. Looks like we have a couple positions changes happening in the back as well. So Clunky Boy getting the overtake done on Ryan. And now, oh, it looks like that is Ryan losing the car and losing 2 positions right there. Great catch to avoid going further into the grass and even into the barrier. So phenomenal job by Ryan to keep the car straight. But looking at the strategy call, so Ryan actually opting to start on the soft tires, the only driver with the soft tires. We have Frankie Francica, who is currently on 2 lap-old hards, so starting on the hards. Everybody else opting for the mediums. So yeah, just a matter of managing those tires. You know, you don't want to overheat them, as we saw, as I mentioned, as I keep on mentioning, because it's something to definitely keep an eye on. You don't want to overcook those tires. We saw a couple of drivers really pushing in the other groups, and unfortunately losing out a little bit. But Mike Cooley's choosing to remain behind of MK7 Hitch. And looks like we don't have any gaps really closing in at the moment. All the drivers doing well to just be patient. It is quite a long race, 33 laps, currently on lap 4. So yeah, definitely a matter of patience, waiting for the driver in front of you to make the mistake. But let's see, we do have quite the DRS train within the top 8, and I do see that we have yellow flags. That appears to be Ryan, who has spun off and looks like losing quite a number of positions there. Not sure if he actually opted to start on the soft tires, or maybe that was a little bit of a mistake in terms of the strategy. And we do tend to know how EA tends to be, but anyways, looking at our front row, we have Mike Cooley still closing in on the back of MK7 Hitch, saving up that battery, not yet making an attempt on an attack. And looks like Ryan is going to be retiring in the pit lane. I do believe he mentioned as well that he didn't know Park Firm was on for this race. So unfortunately, I did think he, as he mentioned on the Discord chat, he did put in his qualifying setup. So yeah, definitely not as comfortable as he was in Tier 2 earlier today, but still good to have him on the track, and hopefully see him more so in future races. so far, all the drivers doing well to keep it consistent behind of each other. Moikuli is going to have the DRS once again behind of MK7 Hitch. I do see we have yellow flags. That appears to be the Mercedes of the Yuppie in Sector 2. And so Moikuli closing in with the DRS, does have the flap open. Looks like he's not going to make a move yet. MACT closing in right behind. Looks like no movements, although we do have Atron, who appeared to have been closing in on the back of our Manson. Not close enough to make a move yet. Both of these two drivers in the Novices Division 2 on Wednesday, they have quite the familiarity with each other, so as I mentioned, Atron using this as extra practice. Our Manson pretty much as well. But our Manson racing as a full-time driver here. Looks like the Yuppie is going to retire in the pit lane. A little bit unlucky there. And Atron looking to make the overtake here on the outside. And is he going to be able to make a stick? And looks like he does, so getting the overtake done on our Manson. Phenomenal overtake there for the King Sauber. And looks like we do have Moikuli, who is much more closer, if I believe, than he was before. Does have the flap open, does have a little bit of the ERS, but didn't use that much. Looks like he's going to continue staying behind of MK7 Hitch. We do have Frozen, who has joined in the battle as well. And Frozen closing in on the back of MACT. A little bit of contact right there. And unfortunately, EA not giving me the a better helicopter view, but MACT trying to defend against Frozen. A little bit of contact right there. I do think these two drivers know each other from another group as well, but looks like Frozen getting the overtake done here on MACT. So Frozen moving up a position. I do believe Frozen, yes, has actually gained 2 positions here. And so it looks like we have the top 7 now who are within the DRS of each other. Dismal Games opening up a little bit of a gap ahead of Clunky Boy over at 1.3 seconds ahead. So they will be closing in on the pit window here in the next couple of laps. However, I'm curious to see if anybody's going to attempt an undercut. I do see a couple of position changes happening in the back. I do believe that was due to leader Liebag pitting. And Dismal Games actually increasing the gap ahead of Clunky Boy, now over 2 seconds ahead of the Haas. Does have Mamu in his sight, but looking up ahead, we do have MK7 Hitch, who doing great to, actually looks like both of them doing great to keep that battery going. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle right there for Moikuli, and that might just cost him a little bit of time behind of MK7 Hitch. However, he is going to have the DRS from the Red Bull, and Frozen closing in as well with the DRS. And I do think Clunky Boy might be struggling a tad bit with those tires. Dismal Games increasing the gap even further. Was 2.2 seconds ahead of Clunky Boy, and within the last couple of seconds has increased it to 3.5 seconds. So Clunky Boy appears to be struggling a little bit, but honestly, it's looking like a really great debut for him, currently sitting in 8th. It does have PO7 tailing right behind him. And so our top 5 drivers still remaining within the DRS of each other. We have Moikuli, who still remains behind of MK7 Hitch. Don't think he'll be making an attack yet, but looking at the other drivers, we do have Frozen, who continues to close in on the back of Moikuli. So I am curious to know who's going to pull the trigger here entering the pit lane. I do believe from Tier 1, a couple of drivers having opted to pit in lap 11, if I'm not mistaken, or lap 12. Opting to switch over to the hard compounds, some of them going for the one stop and taking the hards all the way to the end. As I mentioned, this track is, you definitely have to be a tire whisperer. Alrighty, so we are currently in lap 10 out of 33. And I will say, and I'll probably jinx everybody after this, but I will say, in 10 laps, I'm quite surprised nobody has picked up a track limit penalty. I will say that. Considering we saw already quite a few early ones in the races prior, but looks like we have a couple of gaps closing in. Top 5 drivers still maintaining the order. And yeah, so it looks like in the majority of this race is going to be quite a bit of patience. Drivers just waiting for the opportunity, not really choosing to push on those tires. As I mentioned before, it's an easy track to lose the rear. We already saw with Ryan a couple times, and we also saw on the other groups as well. Quite a few wiggles on the track. So yeah, I think the top 5 drivers keeping it consistent, trying to keep the car on the track, keep the pace, try avoiding any loss of time from the driver ahead. And we do have Dismal Games, who has also closed in on the back of Mamu. Mamu, who doesn't have DRS from, considering he's over a second, almost 2 seconds behind of Fate. But I do think we might be having finally an overtake happening. So Mini Tony, tailing on the back of Relativity, does have plenty of battery to use, does have the flap open, and is he going to be able to make the overtake? And looks like he is getting the pass done on the Red Bull of Relativity. So Mini Tony pushing himself up into 11th now. So Mini Tony, a big thank you for giving us an overtake to see. I will say that. But yeah, the driver's really keeping it conservative and just trying to stay within the DRS of the driver ahead. MK7 Hitch, honestly, doing an amazing job to keep the pace, not falling under the pressure of by Moikuli there. And so it looks like we do have our first driver who has opted to pit. So that is PO7 now. Switching out of the mediums now onto the hards. I did want to take a look at the position changes at the moment before everybody decides to go back into the pits. So Frozen actually up 2 positions. We have Atron and Mini Tony. Atron up 5 positions, Mini Tony up 6. And it looks like PO7 is going to come out right ahead of his teammate Frankie. And looks like we have Moikuli, who has now pulled the trigger. Moikuli opting to pit, MK7 Hitch and Mac T choosing to stay out, Fates as well. So Moikulia and Frozen switching over to the hard compounds now. And yeah, looks like they took it all the way to lap 14. I couldn't remember exactly from tier 1. I do believe J-Dog would probably know, considering he was our commentator for that day. But MK7 Hitch and Mac T are top 7 drivers at the moment, staying out on 13 lap old mediums. And I'm definitely curious to know if Moikuli can try going for the undercut on MK7 Hitch. And so, looks like we do have Moikuli now getting the overtake done on Atron, Mamu, and Dismal Games now opting to pit as well. I do see we have yellow flags that might actually be leader Leebag, who appears to still be on the track, might have had a little bit of a spin. Doesn't appear to have any damage, so yeah, nothing to that. But we do already have a couple of position changes happening at the moment. And Frankie, actually our first driver to pick up a penalty. So Frankie with a 3-second penalty at the moment. Our only driver with the penalty. And yeah, we'll say 15 laps in, only one driver. It's it's yeah, job well done to the group, honestly. And as I say that, leader Leeback picking up a 3-second penalty as well for multiple warnings. We have MK7 Hitch, who has now entered the pit lane. And so that is going to allow Mac T to be our race leader at the moment. Mac T going out for another lap. And it looks like we do have Fate as well. Looks like the majority of the drivers switching over. So Mac T, our only driver at the moment, staying out on the mediums. Atron as well. Frozen picking up the fastest lap at 114.4. And so looks like both Moikuli and Frozen are going to come out ahead of MK7 Hitch after having pit 2 laps ago. So MK7 Hitch, 2 lap younger tires, can definitely use that to his advantage and try regaining those positions there. And so once Mac T pits, I did want to take a quick look at the race, the championship standings once again for any of our viewers who are tuning in just now. But yeah, we will wait a couple of seconds there. It actually looks like Mac T is going to stay out for another lap, opting for yeah, to keep on going. 16 lap old on the mediums. Mac T, we have seen, has quite the pace, and he has surprised us with his strategy calls, so I wouldn't be surprised if this really works out for him. Although it does look like he might be struggling a tad bit with those medium tires. Moikuli closing the gap just a little bit there. And so Moikuli, who was 15 seconds behind of Mac T, closing it down to 14 seconds now. And so it looks like Mac T has now chosen to pit. And actually, just looking at Mac T pitting, I just remembered something. If I'm not mistaken, last season in Spain, we had quite a number of drivers who picked up the penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I think a lot of them have learned their lesson this season, because we had quite a number of drivers from all together in the 4 race groups. I'm pretty sure I could count like more than 10 who had the over 10 seconds of penalties because of that. But yeah, looks like lesson learned. But Moikuli now leading the race. And I am taking a look at the gap between Frozen and MK7 Hitch. Looks like we have a couple of gaps closing in as well. Mac T looks like he's going to come out behind a Dismal Game, so he has quite a bit of work to do, considering he now has Mamu and Dismal Games right ahead of him. So I do believe everybody has made a stop. So looking at the position changes, we have our highest position gain appears to be Mini Tony, up 6 positions. Looks like he's having a really great, consistent race right there. And we also have Sayo, who is up by 4 positions, second highest, and third highest appears to be tied between Frozen, up 3 positions, and Ricky Stenicki up 3 as well. And actually, looks like up ahead we have Frozen, who has made the overtake on Moikuli. So Frozen now our new race leader. And so in just one race, we've had 3 different race leaders. So we've had MK7 Hitch, we've had Mac T, actually 4. We've had Moikuli, and we've had Frozen. So yeah, quite a bit of action happening in the front. Moikuli is going to have the DRS here on the back of Frozen. Frozen with quite a bit of battery here to use and to defend himself against the Alpine. But looks like we do have MK7 Hitch, who has closed in, does have 2-lap younger tires, and in the mid-pack, Mac T getting the overtake done on Dismal Games with the fresh set of hard compounds. And it doesn't look like Mercury's going to be close enough to make an attack, although I did see Fate closing in on the back of Mamu, but Fate appears to have gone a tad bit wide right there. And so Fate losing a bit of time from Mamu. Clunky Boy getting the overtake done on P07, moving himself back up to P8. And looks like in the back we also have Autron getting the overtake done on Sayo with the DRS and with a little bit of battery to use. And so, as I mentioned before, we do have in our championship battle, we have MK7 Hitch leading the championship with a total of 228 points. And 2 points behind, he has Mac T, 126 points. So, MK7 Hitch in a really good position at the moment. Was very lucky on the in Las Vegas, considering Mini Tony did pick up a penalty, and so if it had not been for that, MK7 Hitch would have been tied with Mac T. So those extra 2 points might be important for him towards the end of the season. It's giving me a little bit of Antonelli and Lando Norris flashbacks here. Looking at the rest of the grid, looks like no movement's happening yet, although Mac T looking to get the attack done on Fate. Fate who actually went a tad bit wide right there. So Mac T on the outside. Can he make the overtake stick? And looks like Fate is going to try defending for that position. Does defend that position and remains ahead of Mac T. And this is going to cost Mac T a little bit of time from the drivers ahead who he was battling for the podium. And Fate has closed in on the back of Mamu as well. He is going to have the DRS, has to make sure he gets a good exit here on the straight. And so Fate may have gone a tad bit wide right there, and looks like that is not going to help him for the attack on Mamu. MacT now putting in a little bit of pressure. Is he going to be able to get the move done? Goes on the inside and looks like looks like a little bit minor contact, but nothing much. MacT doing a great job to make the move stick, and so gaining the position ahead, putting himself in 5th. So MacT using those 2-lap younger tires to his advantage. He does have Mamu, who has 3-lap older tires. It looks like Dismal Games has also joined the party as well. Dismal Games now less than a second behind of Fate, trying to close in. And I am keeping an eye on the gaps ahead. Looks like Moikuli is going to have the DRS off of Frozen. I don't think he'll be close enough to get the overtake done, so just keeping an eye on MacT and Mamu. I just had to make sure. So MacT closing in on the Aston Martin, looking to make a move on the inside. And it looks like he is going to make the move stick. So MacT, once again, for another overtake, gaining 2 positions there on the past 2 laps. And so MacT moving himself up to 4th. Now, 8, almost 9 seconds behind of his rival, MK7 Hitch, who only has 2-lap older tires. So MK7 Hitch just having to make sure he's able to tire manage all the way to the end there. And so Moikuli, who was tailing behind of MK7 Hitch throughout the majority of the race, now tailing behind Frozen. And I do see we have yellow flags. I do believe that is Atron, who a little bit of a spin right there. He might have damage. Actually, looks like no. He's just losing a couple positions there, but yeah, appears to be struggling a little bit. And looking at the gaps, MacT has actually managed to push out Mamu from the DRS, now over a second, almost a second and a half. And it does appear to be yellow flags as well. That might be Frankie, if I'm not mistaken, and looks like it is. Might have lost the car there on that curve. And I'm trying to see if he has any wing damage, but the game not giving me the broadcast view. And looks like, yes, missing his right end plate. So Frankie also has a couple of drivers approaching in the back. I do believe that is the race leader. And so Frankie, looking to go into the pit, has to be cautious here. We did see a couple times in the other race groups, a couple of drivers going in a tad bit too deep and hitting the wall, but yeah, looks like Frankie's going to retire from the session after that mistake. And so we do have 8 laps remaining, including this one. Frozen, who has climbed up 4 positions, now leading the race. Moikuli, who has stayed in the same position as he started, and MK7 Hitch, who dropped 2. MacT, who had dropped 1 as well. So yeah, should be an interesting battle here towards the end on the podium. But MK7 Hitch also giving a little bit of a shout out, doing well to maintain that gap ahead of MacT, who tried to extend those mediums further, but looks like that might have cost him a bit of time. especially having come out in traffic with Dismal Games, Fate, and Mamu. So yeah, we'll just have to see how this race plays out, but we do have Moikuli, who is still within the DRS of Frozen. Looks like he might not be close enough to make a move. I do see Fate might actually be our closest battle at the moment. So Fate having to make sure he gets a good exit right here. Is going to have the DRS and trying to use up a bit of battery there, but looks like he's not going to be able to get the attack done. I do think Fate going a tad bit wide on that final corner might be costing him a little bit of the exits, but still doing a really good job to keep the gap really close behind the Mamu. We also have a couple of gaps closing in on the back as well. Relativity looking to make the overtake done on the Ferrari of Sayo does get the move done, and so Relativity moving up to 11th. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have the constructors battle as well between the Ferrari team and the Red Bull team. So Red Bull looking quite solid. Both of the Red Bulls ahead of the Ferrari. So Maxi right behind of MK7 Hitch, Sayo right behind of Relativity. So both the Red Bulls looking to make some money moves and gain some points for the constructors. But as I mentioned, Ferrari is leading, so those points are going to count towards the end as they try maximizing some points here. But it's like no movements happening yet. So we still have quite a number of battles happening. Looks like Clunky Boy might be having a bit of a solo race at the moment. He does have quite a comfortable gap ahead of PO7. And it is quite far back from Dismal, but a P8 on a debut should be really good to see. It looks like the top three still remaining behind of each other. Fate, once again, the closest is always about 3/10 behind of Mamu. Unfortunately, never close enough to get the overtake done on the straight. Could be waiting for the final laps. So as I mentioned, just a matter of patience and consistency. But he does have Dismal Games tailing right on him. And so yeah, as I mentioned, Spain, typically you'd opt for the one stop, medium to hards, hard to mediums from what we've seen a few. And I will say no safety car as well has definitely helped them really keep that strategy going. And so we are currently on lap 29 out of 33. Frozen, who is currently our race leader, does have Moikuli, who has been tailing behind him throughout the grand majority of the race. Oh, and looks like we do have a yellow flag. That appears to be Sayo in Sector 2. And he was right behind a Relativity, so he's dropped down a couple positions there, losing to Antron and R. Manson. And it has looked like Frozen has extended the gap ahead of Moikuli. Moikuli, who was consistently about 4/10, half a second behind of Frozen, now pushing out a little bit, but ooh, looks like Autron trying to get the move done on Relativity there on the outside, and looks like he is going to make the move stick. Don't think there was any contact, so really nice job from Autron there. I think using those 2 lap younger tires to his advantage. Looks like Moikuli gaining a little bit of time right there. Did have the DRS. Still not close enough to make an overtake yet. And I do see we have Alex in the live chat. So big hello to you, sir. And you know what? Good morning. Good morning. After having taken that nap and missing this race. I hope it was a good nap. Yeah, but looks like I did see that we had another penalty showing up, and looks like that was Sayo with a 3-second penalty. Leader Leadback choosing to retire in the pit lane. And so 3 laps remaining, including this one. Frozen for doing a really consistent job to remain ahead of Moikuli, not falling for the pressure. And I do see that is yellow flags. That is actually the... Oh, man. That is going to be the AI car of Leader Leadback. So I do hope... Ooh, looks like that, unfortunately, yeah, that's not even Leader Leadback's fault. He did what he had to do. He retired in the pit lane. Of course, the game choosing to let his car out. But luckily, no damage to any drivers, although MK7 Hitch almost looking to get the overtake or try making the move on Moikuli. And so should be a really interesting race towards the end. So I don't doubt the majority, these top 3 drivers are going to be saving up their battery for that final lap. Ooh, Moikuli, a little bit of a wiggle right there. And so MK7 Hitch, probably the closest one here. We also do have Fate on the back of Mamu. But looks like Moikuli with the DRS, and so unfortunately MK7 Hitch not able to get the attack there. But we do have Fate, who has the DRS, does have the battery. Mamu with no DRS to defend himself, but looks like Mamu is going to have a little bit of battery to defend there. And so I do see we have PO7, who has also picked up a 3-second penalty there. And Clunky Boy actually opting to pit out of the 16-lap-old hard compound. So I do wonder why, considering he did, or actually probably going for the fastest lap, switching over to the soft tires. Did have quite a comfortable gap. He is about 25 seconds ahead of Mini Tony, although Mini Tony closing in, approaching the pit exit, but looks like Clunky Boy is going to remain ahead. And so Clunky Boy, yeah, looking to possibly get that fastest lap. Who is currently, ooh, looks like that might have been, what the heck? It appeared to look like contact, but not exactly sure what happened there. But Mamu losing out 2 positions there to Fate and Dismal Games. Currently, as I was looking, the fastest lap is held by Frozen in the McLaren with a 1:14.4. And so we are currently on our final lap. And just looking for that. Yep. And so the top 3 remaining right behind of each other. I do think they have the Kick Sauber of Ricky Stanicki up ahead. I don't think he'll be close enough to really interfere here, but Moikuli with the last DRS. Looks like he's not going to be close enough to make a move yet. And MK7 Hitch just following right behind, also not able to make an overtake attempt. So all three drivers just having to make sure they keep it consistent here on the final corner. MK7 Hitch, especially considering MacT is right behind him by 2 points in the championship. So very important points for MK7 Hitch there. And so Frozen crossing the line for the win. Moikuli in second, MK7 Hitch in third. MacT 8 seconds behind of MK7 Hitch, having chosen to stay out on those mediums. Going to finish in fourth. Dismal Games not close enough to get a pass on Fate, and so Fate is going to finish in fifth. Let's see if we have any movements happening in the back. Clunky Boy, who I'm curious to know if he's able to pull off the fastest lap, who, as I mentioned before, is held by Frozen. Looks like he might be actually able to do it. He has put on a purple second sector. So Frozen with a 114.4. Clunky Boy here finishing up in sector 3. Does have the fresh set of soft tires at the moment. And Clunky Boy with a 113.3 does get the fastest lap. I don't see if we have any other intervals closing in. Oh, Mini Tony getting relativity right there on the line. And shame I just switched over to that, but but I do know Mini Tony doesn't like the pressure, so nor the commentator's curse, so it's a good thing I stayed off of him. So it looks like we're just waiting on Ricky Stanicki to cross the line. Alrighty, so we have for our grid here in Spain for round 8, we have Frozen for the win, sharing the podium with him. We have Moikuli and MK7 Hitch. Phenomenal drive by them. Really consistent all throughout the race. From fourth all the way to the end, we have MacT, Fate, Dismal Games, Mamu, PO7, Clunky Boy, who, honestly, big congratulations. Did, I believe, lose one position. However, great qualifying session and great result to finish in the top 10, as well as picking up the fastest lap. So those are extra 2 points for him for finishing in the top 10 there. Atron in 10th, and so that is our top 10. Mini Tony just outside of the top 10 in 11th. Relativity in 12th. Armance in 13th. Sayo in 14th. Ricky Stenicky in 15th. Leader Leebag 16th. And Frankie in 17th. And actually, no, looks like, yeah, I was just waiting for those to appear. The DNFs were Leader Leebag, Frankie, Yuppie, and Ryan. So, unfortunate for those two. Hopefully, they have a better race on the next one. It will be in the Zandvoort. So, honestly, not my favorite track, but we had to switch it up a little bit. So, we'll be on the calendar. It is on the calendar this season. And so, we will be there next week. Yeah, honestly, really great race. The drivers quite conservative. I think a few of them probably thinking it's a little bit boring, but Spain is a classic track. Just have to make sure you keep the tires managed. But yeah, honestly, great race. We do have our No Assist Division 2 group on Wednesday nights. So yeah, stay tuned. Make sure to like and subscribe our videos. Give us a little bit of appreciation. we do enjoy it. And yeah, we'll see you guys on. Yeah, just looking at the Discord chat. Yeah, we will be catching you guys on Wednesday next week. For the next round, we start again on Tier 1, as I mentioned in Zandvoort, but Division 2 racing once again here in Spain. So, yeah, big congratulations to our podium runners. Looking forward to the race. Hopefully, Turtle Commander 7 could join in next week in the comms booth, but was great. Was a great race to watch, and yeah, looking forward to next week. So, have a good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you guys are watching from, and we'll